What's up, y'all? How we doing? Hope everybody had a decent week. Mine, I'm not gonna lie, I've had better weeks, but you know what? It's all right. Next week's probably gonna be better. Been a busy week. That's the main thing. Been busy. Um, it is getting hot, very hot here in Missouri. Here in Missouri, we at least I've heard it once or twice referred to as Swamp East Missouri instead of Southeast Missouri. It's extremely humid. Used to be all swampland, so it's definitely a little bit muggy here. I moved my window unit upstairs because we've got the one unit downstairs does just fine cooling downstairs. Up here, not so much. So we put a window unit in the window upstairs. It does okay. Uh, Turned it off for the stream though because I wasn't sure if it was going to pick up really bad on the background noise or not. So wasn't really sure what it was going to do. Let's go ahead. What's up, J Math? How you doing? Good to see you, buddy. Let me make sure everything's going well here on Rumble. Looks good. Looks good. Awesome. All right. Audio and video sounds good. Got some people trickling in. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Appreciate you watching. Today we've got some fun topics. Honestly, yeah, it's mostly fun topics. A little bit of ranty stuff, I guess, with the second one, maybe, and second and third one. But just, I think there's some interesting topics. The first thing that we're going to talk about today. Good. Appreciate you, J Math. Thanks for the feedback, man. Yeah, I made sure to unmute the mic, the actual physical mic, and the button here on Rumble Studio. So, yeah. Finally getting in the swing of it, I suppose. The first thing that we're going to talk about today, these dastardly Republicans, the conservatives, they're doing these deep fakes, or I think KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre, called them cheap fakes when this reporter who the way that they interact, the ones that are friendly to this administration, the way they interact with the White House press secretary and Biden, the few times that he does talk to the press, it's honestly just pathetic. They're groveling essentially. This guy, the way that he asked Karine Jean-Pierre about the videos that show Biden's clear issues, his clear mental decline. When asked about those, you see nothing and hear nothing. Yanni Fangs. I'm gonna type. See. Refresh and it should work. There we go. Yeah, that's one of the. Oh, what's up, Sally? Thanks for joining. All right, appreciate you, Yanni Fangs. Glad you got that figured out. But pretty much, watching these reporters, how they interact with the Biden administration, they essentially prostrate themselves and it's they grovel. They handle with such kid gloves that it's honestly kind of disgusting. And so we're gonna play it here in a little bit, but after we do our little brief intro here, it's interesting. It, it's cliche, but it has to bring out the reference to 1984. Essentially, don't believe your lying eyes. The truth will be lie. The lie will be truth. The inverse, which also, if you think about it, what is, the inverse of good is evil, right? Those that act in the inverse usually aren't on the side of good. Just kind of throwing that out there. Keeping on the topic of Biden, we're going to discuss the parole extension, I think is what the administration is calling it. But what it actually is it's legitimately amnesty. It's apparently the Dreamers, the DACA program that Obama instituted, which was illegal. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel for the kids that were brought here. I do. I feel for them. But also, we've got laws and we need to adhere to those laws. Now, if somebody's been living in this country with a green card Like if they've had a green card, I don't see what the issue is. As far as what's up, Jacob Castro, good to see y'all. But if somebody has a green card and they've been with a spouse, they married an American, one would think that it would be a little bit easier for them to get their citizenship. Apparently not. And we're going to read through some of these things. I've got an opinion piece and then a piece that purports to be just factual. We'll kind of compare the two when we're talking about this topic. And if, I mean, the cynic in me says that making, I think it's 500,000 more citizens. I mean, do they even have time to vote at this point? I'm thinking they probably do. So what are they going to do? They're going to essentially bribe them. And, that I guess can only go so far, especially with the Latin community. A lot of Latinos and Latinas, I'm not going to say Latinx, that's a made up funny word. A lot of them are Catholics. And I know Catholics get a bad rap in a lot of ways, and deservedly so. The Catholic Church is, Big C Church is, garbage. But Little C Church, the little communities, there's some good communities, the Catholics. But there is a decent portion of those that practice Catholicism that seem to go directly against the tenets of what they teach. So I don't understand. That might be that section, or they might just be loyal. They might feel loyalty to the Democrats and vote for the Democrats. So JMF, yeah, there are illegal aliens, non-citizens, being sworn in as officers in certain states. That's a thing that's happening. That's an issue. That's something. They're not an American citizen yet. So do I want someone like that being in law enforcement? No, I don't. For the people that end up, not saying all, but sometimes the people that go into law enforcement aren't that great. Just being honest. There's some power hungry folks that get into that type of position. And do I want somebody who's not an American, who doesn't have American pride, who doesn't have maybe full observance of the Constitution as something that they believe in? Do I want them being a cop? No, I don't. This is an amnesty push. That's what it is. You got the news recently that Biden's talking about, what was it? Essentially tamping down on the illegal crossings, the asylum approvals, reducing the acceptance of asylum, requests, emergency asylum requests. And I saw a stat just a few minutes ago. I was just kind of reading through some articles, and they were talking about the reduction in crime or encounters in these areas. Sorry. I had a hair in my mouth. They talked about a reduction in crime, or 25% reduction in the encounters. I'm like, well, because they're being sneakier about it, they're not going to be as ready to come directly to you if they don't believe that they're just going to get a nice hotel, which is what's happened a lot. So we're going to talk about the amnesty issue. Like I said, I've got a comparison between an opinion piece from, I think, the New York Post, which is pretty red meat. I'm not going to lie. Did I nod my head and hell yeah to it? Yeah. But it's an opinion piece. So we're going to look at the opinion piece, and then we're going to go through the piece that is, like I said, supposedly supposed to be more newsy. So we're going to do that after we get done talking about the amnesty plan from the Biden administration. We're going to roll into the bombshell report from O'Keefe Media Group, OMG. He's got, I thought it was just a lawyer. I had that in the title, that I thought it was just a lawyer with Disney. I think this is like a vice president of something. Not sure exactly what. It'll have it when I pull it up. But someone higher up in Disney, a vice president of some section of Disney, was just pretty blunt about the racist practices of Disney, the racist and radical stance of Disney as a company when it comes to hiring and promoting and facilitating the growth of white men. Essentially anything but. It's about a 20-minute clip. We're gonna watch that, kind of go through it, pause it, have a little bit of commentary on that. Um, these companies have to stop with the racism. Racism's not good on either side. And there's no such thing as reverse racism. It's just racism all around. When you treat somebody differently because of the color of their skin, or if you treat them differently because of their sexual, because they're straight, white, cis male. Um, no, no, this is it's not how we do things, and it shouldn't be allowed. What's up, Salt Dumpster? Glad you're joining us. If you guys are joining, please like the stream, like the channel, follow the channel if you haven't followed already. Um, if you are so inclined to subscribe, I believe it's $5 a month, and there are some perks to that. You will not see ads when you're watching my content or my streams, and you will also get custom emotes. I was working on adding some emotes for the last stream. Haven't done any more, but I'm going to actually get after that. I still have it pulled up on my phone to where I will add some extra fun little emotes, maybe a little bit of spicy emotes if I can find them. Finding the right ones for Rumble to accept was a little bit frustrating. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to have some like ones that were animated for the people who subscribe. So if that's something that you feel like doing, nobody ever has to subscribe or give money to me. I'm doing this because I simply like to inform and hopefully be a little bit entertaining while I'm informing. So, all right. And we might have an ad read in here at some point. Rumble Studio does this awesome thing where they throw out campaigns. Nothing available right now. Interesting. But, if something is available when we're talking, if I think about it, I might pull it up. If not, we don't. So I like just having the conversations. So after we get done watching the O'Keefe Media Group scoop with Disney and our commentary on that, we're going to move into the lighthearted, or it's there. Okay, it might be a little ranty, but it's also just funny. The Acolyte. I the Acolyte. I haven't watched it. I'm not going to. And honestly, like there's other channels like Geeks and Gamer and Friday Night Tights. They've been talking about this stuff ad nauseum. Of course, Star Wars is dead, right? Yeah, we got that back in the last trilogy, honestly. But apparently, I'm just gonna say in honor. It must be in honor of Pride Month, y'all. They had this weird lesbian witch ritual to impregnate one of their fellow witches. And it's one of the strangest things. Just because they don't need no man. They're strong, independent women and don't need no man. They're going to make babies with the force, all right? This is force fertilization. That sounds a little bit rough. Yeah, that might not be the best. They probably shouldn't call it that. It's what it is, though. It's an odd little chant they do. It's interesting. So that'll be our kind of lighthearted, kind of haha story at the end. First off, we are going to get into, I guess, the Biden gaffes. The recent G7, the recent G7 summit or G7 gathering conference, whatever the hell you call it. All these, wealthy elites, heads of state get together and they talk about things that are important, like climate change or something. And they do their thing. They do their song and dance. God, I haven't watched the Die Hard trilogies in a while, Salt Dumpster. Gosh, it's probably, I think my dad used to watch those all the time when I was like 7 or 8. So I would probably remember them as I watched them. But yeah, it's a good trilogy. It's a good trilogy. I mean, Lord of the Rings, it's up there. Lord of the Rings is pretty solid. I actually had a friend get married recently, and the procession of the groom and the groomsmen and the bridesmaids. So the groom and the bridal party. It was the Shire music, which is one of the nerdiest things ever, but I love it. Good for them. They had a happy day. So, all right. So Biden is wandering about. He is mumbling. One of the most recent ones, and I actually thought this might have been from a while back. I could have sworn I've seen Biden do this before in response to a reporter when they were just, it was a bunch of noise, crazy, before the handlers come in and say, if you pay attention, I don't know why, but the audio was really low earlier. But if you pay attention at one point, um, the press is talking, and then all of a sudden you hear in the background the handlers, all right, press, that's enough, press, let's go, press. They're like herding these reporters out. So say what you want about Trump's attacks on the media, they deserve it. First of all, they deserve to be put on Front Street. They deserve to be called out for their BS. But he was accessible. He's got to be one of the most accessible presidents we've ever seen. Biden, on the other hand, barely will give a nod, a wave to these reporters, and then he'll say some stupid stuff like, "Oh, I'm going to get in trouble with my people, or I'm going to be in trouble for this." This they now are saying that these are cheap fakes. Don't believe your lying eyes, guys. Do not dare believe your lying eyes. How dare you? No, he wasn't wandering away, even though they try to say that it's a deceptively edited clip where he's watching the parachuter guy come in and he lands, and then before he even fully lands, he, um, yeah, pretty much. Before he even lands, Biden's already turning and going to somebody else, which I assumed was another parachuter that had landed before that. But the point is, and this is where the corporate media, lefty media, which is most the establishment, this is where they are lying in their assertion that the claim is that he just wandered off to nothingness. The first video that I saw wasn't cropped at all. The first video that I saw, he was literally, like, you saw the whole thing. It was the wide shot. You saw him walking over and you saw the guy on the ground that he was going to talk to. The problem is it's still him wandering away from the main thing that he was supposed to be paying attention to. They say, oh, he wasn't wandering away. He was going over. He was diverting away. He was squirreling hard away from where everybody else was paying attention to something else. And it made it awkward and weird looking. That's the thing that we're pointing out. That's the thing that looks odd. That's the thing that is concerning. But don't believe your lying eyes. Talk about I guess the New York Post is the one that I saw second. So that's the one that I saw second was the one that was cropped off and you didn't see the actual guy eventually. The first one I had seen, I saw the guy. So I wasn't under the impression that he just wandered off. It's the problem is that he was wandering away from what everyone else was doing. The one of him barking when the press started shouting questions at him. No one's concerned about that. That one was rough, y'all. That one's just like, whoa. Where he got led off stage because he froze when he had Obama and I think Clinton. I can't remember if it was Clinton or not. I think it was somebody else. But he was up on stage and he just freezes. And then Obama has to grab him by the wrist and then start leading him off stage. And the high levels of cope from the left on this, someone posted a video that showed like a cut. Like it cut whenever he froze to make it seem like he didn't freeze. I'm like, you cut off the part that we were looking at. Like, and it was a jump cut to another angle. It's like, that's not legit. That's deceptive. You're being douchey. You're being deceptive. Stop. Another one shows Trump walking by his son, Don Jr. Don Jr.'s in the audience and reaches up and goes to do like a little fist bump at first, and he gets left hanging, which was kind of sad. But then he like holds his hand out and like he does like a hand grab with his dad. So Don Jr. grabs Donald Trump, Sr.'s hand. And they're like, they paused the freeze frame on that. And no, Trump had to be let off stage. The false equivalency, that they employ this false equivalency over and over. And trying to make that like he was being let off stage. Stop. That's not even close to what happened. And if you play the video, it's just like they are going to do this. They've been doing this. They've been doing it since Charlottesville, where they didn't play just a couple minutes more. Couple seconds more. I don't even think it was a whole minute where he condemned the white supremacists and the Nazis. He said, of course, but they kept running with that over and over. That's the whole thing that Biden started his campaign campaign with, back in 2020 about he said they were good folks on both sides, or good people on both sides. The context was that he wasn't talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists. He literally says that in the next breath. But they cannot bring it upon themselves to just be genuine. They just can't do it. So instead, we have this this cope from the White House. Just a second here. We're going to watch. This is from the posting is from Libs at TikTok. So I'll go ahead and share my screen real quick. Make sure that X doesn't have anything crazy real quick, because apparently X is all for the X-rated stuff now, even though it was already there. It's always been there apparently. Good Lord. Some of the stuff, it's like, ooh, you can't just trying to look at a profile of somebody that responded to you, and all of a sudden, oh, you're getting met with a lot of skin showing. That was, I guess, against the terms of service, but it was still allowed. And now it's just within the terms of service. So, all right, I guess I just kind of need to figure out how to set filters or something. Maybe blur out certain content. That's something that I would like. If there's a way to do that. What's up, Salty saying? Oh, it's okay, Salty saying. It's okay. You hang out with Melanie Mac. I appreciate you popping in, bud. The butter lady. The butter lady. Maybe she'll inspire me to start standing for my streams. Nah, I don't know about that. I'll stand for work, but sometimes it gets boring sitting down. So I work, all day, same desk. So, but let's go ahead and see what Karine Jean-Pierre. Oh, sweet. Thanks, Salty Sam. She's done. Well, I'm glad that she's getting done around this time. I think that's a decent thing. If people want to go over from another stream and hang out here, that's cool too. So, let's see here. But I do appreciate everybody joining. Like I said earlier, don't forget to like the stream. She wants a Jeep. Yeah. I guess Melanie's trying to get herself at that Jeep fund. So if you feel so inclined to help a lovely lady get a Jeep Gladiator, I guess you can donate to that if you like. I am currently not sending Rumble Rants or Super Chats unless they're like $1 or $2, because, well, I'm broke. Yay, Bidenomics. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the Acolyte is something we're definitely going to be talking about later. Salty saying that's our ending topic, our lighthearted one. We're gonna roast it a little bit. It's just so silly lesbian witches. So let's see what Karine Jean-Pierre had to say. When this reporter, in the most groveling and disgusting way, was asking about the attacks from the right. If my presentation mode will work. Oh, goodness. It's not doing it for me. Well, I might not be able to share my darn screen. Let me check something real quick. Turning my camera off and then turning it back on. Yeah, I agree, Salty saying we're all broke now. Try this. Huh. I don't know, Salty. I don't know. It won't let me share my screen, though, so that's kind of frustrating. Don't want to refresh my stream because I feel like if I refresh, it might not let me continue the stream. I am not sure. Rumble Studios, the first time it's given me any issues. I wonder. Y'all think if I refresh, it'll make me stop streaming? I don't know. Oh, well, even if we're not able to share, well, it does make it kind of frustrating for the O'Keefe Media Group thing, though. Yeah, Rumble's been struggling recently, guys. Rumble has been having some issues. I know this has been something in the past, DDoS attacks. but usually it lets me switch back and forth. Maybe, I'm going to disable my camera again real quick. No? Oh, well. So essentially what Karine Jean-Pierre did was she insinuated that all of this footage that you're seeing, they're cheap fakes, which is really close to deep fakes. Um, insinuating that the conservatives or the right have been manipulating. Yeah, exactly. Apparently, she's been insinuating that the right has been editing these clips, and I guess the New York Post one did technically have like the very right side of it cut off, but it's still the issue. It's still the clip of him barking at reporters in response to just all the noise, all the chaos. He started barking. Um, they're calling them deceptive editing. They're calling them cheap fakes. They're saying that the right is misinforming the masses, essentially. The videos are there, and it's an interesting commentary, I guess you could say, on like AI stuff, right? That's one of the things that, you know, a lot of us, I'm sure, are concerned about with certain politicians. The the sophistication of the AI at this point, with the videos, making it seem like the individual is actually saying everything that you think it is, that you think they are, like the audio taking bits and pieces of all the things that the people have said, and they're able to just string it together. Um, they're just it's fluid. It sounds like it's the person saying these crazy things. Did I come up blackface for a minute there? Guess it was the turning the camera off and turning it back on. Um, the New York Post, I don't think I would call them right wing. They have their moments, like they have their based moments, like with um, the Hunter Biden laptop, for instance. They were the ones at the forefront of that. They're the ones that were censored for it. Now, do they have some takes that are really way off of objectivity, askew to the left at times? Yeah. But I mean, at least they kind of the New York Post seems to have a bit of a balance between. So at least there's that. But I wouldn't say that they're right wing. They just have some moments of not lucidity, moments of sincerity, like with the Hunter Biden laptop, I would say. They can only hide Biden for so long. I just saw before I hopped on stream, Biden apparently is going to be at Camp David for 7 days, preparing 7 days, preparing for the debate with Trump. Why does he need 7 days at Camp David to prepare? Just, I mean, not gonna lie, my tinfoil hat gets screwed on a little bit tighter with something like that. Maybe he's going to get a quote unquote oil change. Maybe get a little bit more youthful vigor or something. Maybe. Something like that. Maybe they're just going to pump him full of a concoction of drugs, stimulants that get him amped up. Maybe he'll pop another blood vessel, guys. How bad of a look is that you can't get animated in a debate without bursting a blood vessel in your eye? That was disturbing. But we just memory hole that. Act like it's just fine. That's just fine, y'all. Just popped a blood vessel. No big deal. No big deal. Salty saying it's adrenochrome and cocaine. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, they're some people might call those vitamins, I guess. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. I wonder if doing something like this might get Rumble Studio back in gear. What's this up here? If I disappear for a moment, I'll try to fix it. Rumble hasn't given me issues yet, but I don't know. Can't really share the article. So this first one, like I said, we can go ahead and do this without sharing the video clip. I'll just go ahead and read through the first article. This is the opinion piece, and this is actually from Newsweek. This is the actually no wait, that one's not the opinion piece. That is the piece that is news. There is an opinion piece though from oh, where did it go? There it is. And I think this one's page 6. No, this New York Post. Speaking of New York Post, y'all, we're just talking about that in chat, weren't we? This is actually an opinion editorial by just says Post editorial board. Actually, that was a different one. Good Lord. I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm all over the place. Oh, that was about the immigration thing. We'll do those. We'll do those here in a moment. But yeah, the debates are going to be interesting. If the footage that we're getting right now is any indication of how he's going to be during the debates, it honestly could be sad. But it also could be horrible for Trump because Trump likes to talk. Trump's a bulldog. Trump gets after it. So I'm just hoping that he gives Biden a chance to talk, gives him a chance, enough room to show how woefully inept he is. If he can do that, that'll be worth it. Now, if he goes hard, it's probably going to look like a bully beating up on an old senile grandpa. And that's kind of what they have been. That's what they try to present Joe Biden as, is the sweet, sweet Uncle Joe, sweet old fella, not a mean guy. Trump's just this big meanie. And I fear they're going to do that again. So I don't know how they're going to spin the gaffes, they call them. Lapses in cognitive ability would be another thing to call them. How they're going to spin that, it'll be entertaining to see. It's worth a laugh. I get a chuckle out of seeing how they spin things, to be honest. So, staying on Biden, he recently decided to initiate amnesty for something like 500,000 illegals, or people who are non-citizens married to citizens. Now, do I think that somebody that has been here with a green card for however many years they've been here, could be 5, 10, 15 years, with married to an American, do I think that they've got to go back to their home country and be there for 5 or 10 years just to apply? No, I think that's silly. But you don't just waive everything if they've been there. First of all, if they're illegal, how do they have a green card? I'm not sure what the specifics are, but this amnesty thing, it's clearly a way to get more votes. Clearly a way to get more votes. What's up, Snarl Barkley? Appreciate everyone joining. Thank you guys. Rumble Studio is acting up on me, so if you see me fade out here and there, I might just be tinkering with things, might be trying to get it to work. I really don't want to hit refresh because I think that's going to make the stream die. So I'm probably not going to do that until closer to the end. And if it's closer to the end and I hit refresh and I can't share, a quick little video here and there, then that's the case, and that's okay. As far as the articles are concerned for the amnesty issue, like I was talking about earlier, I have a New York Post one, and then I have another one from, oh gosh darn it, Newsweek. Yeah, so I have one from New York Post and one from Newsweek, I believe. And one of them, from the one from the New York Post, is a pretty right-leaning opinion piece about this issue. So we're going to look at the red meat, nod along and rah-rah to it, honestly. And then we're going to look at the other one that is supposedly more measured and more neutral and news, not opinion. So, yeah. Salty, you are making some excellent points in the chat, bud. Yeah. Hey, good deal, Snarl Barkley. Glad the video got to work. You had to refresh. Like I said, Rumble's been having some issues today. Won't let me enter presentation mode, but at least I'm able to actually be on camera. So there's that. Unless you guys have been staring at a black screen this whole time, which hopefully that's not the case. Doesn't look like that from what I'm seeing on the app on my phone over there. So the first article we're going to look at is the more opinion-based one in reference to this Amnesty executive order that Biden is instituting. So this is an editorial from the New York Post. Biden's new amnesties show his border crackdown was smoke and mirrors. President Biden's policy on the border crisis. Say one thing, do the opposite, and hope no one notices. Again, this is opinion, guys. I'm not presenting this as news. This is just an opinion. But they probably raise some damn good points that are objectively true in this. Just 14 days after signing a border-tightening executive order that amounted to little more than a publicity stunt, the president on Tuesday announced two reforms that would streamline legalization for two groups of illegal migrants, illegal aliens. Some quote-unquote dreamers, adults brought to the country as children, protected from deportation under an Obama-era executive order, DACA, I believe, and 500,000 illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, now married to U.S. citizens, shielding the latter from deportation and granting them work permits in the meantime. So these people apparently are married to U.S. citizens and aren't even, don't even have a green card, don't even have the work permit. I'm sorry, but just stop breaking the law. There's a law. We have a law for a reason. It should be followed. Yeah, Rumble's been struggling, guys. If the stream does start buffering really bad or something like that, you might have to leave and come back. Hopefully that's not the case tonight. I did forget to do the darn DVR one, the DVR option when you do Rumble Studio. So, so let's see here. So where were we at? To add insult to injury, in the same address, he claimed every nation must secure its borders. So while you're shirking the law and shirking what should be securing the border, you are also going ahead and saying that all the countries need to secure their borders. You're doing the opposite. I agree. Say one thing, do the opposite. So thing is, potential border jumpers get the message too. If you can end run the legal immigration process, U.S. progressives will eventually find some way to kosherize you anyway. Interesting word, kosherize. The actual law requires illegal immigrants with citizen spouses to return to their countries to apply for permanent residency. Some are banned from reentry for 10 to 20 years because they were breaking the law before that for the whole time. So, yeah. That one, there's got to be a better way, but you've got to go through the legal process. At least start going through the legal process. So having already stretched this parole, that's where the parole was coming from, powers, which are supposed to apply to individuals case by case to let in millions of asylum seekers, Biden is doing it again, offering parole in place to illegal immigrants who have lived here for at least 10 years and are married to a U.S. citizen. They can now apply for permanent residency while remaining in the U.S. Those okayed could then apply for green cards and work permits. These people, we have to have law and order, and we actually have to stick to the law. When we don't, when we let certain classes of individuals just act like the law isn't there, when other classes of individuals are met with the law regardless of circumstance, you don't have an equal system or equal application of the law. When you don't have an equal application of the law, it's not legitimate. That's where a lot of people are losing their faith in the systems for stupid stuff like this. It just, I mean, and that's the point. They want to demoralize you. They want you to think, as far as faith in the system, I mean, you really shouldn't have had your faith in the system to begin with. Faith in God, faith in spirituality, faith in the universe, whatever you call it. They, um, you know, it, faith in the system, faith in government's a bad idea. It is run by man. So keep that in mind. Biden's other reform would speed up work permits and is already registering work permits for already registered Dreamers and other non-citizen students who graduate U.S. colleges, again, by ignoring the clear letter of the law. White House aides think voters will see these amnesties as reasonable because the beneficiaries are sympathetic. But those same aides failed to foresee the fury over opening the border in the first place. They're stuck in an elite echo chamber, imagining Biden's pretend quote-unquote border crackdown on June 4th fixed his main problem, and now he just needs to reassure the left. Not quite. Not quite. In fact, voters will see that he couldn't even stick to his get tough script for 2 weeks, let alone actually get tough. And he's making fresh mockery of U.S. immigration law. A vote for Biden is a vote for more amnesty and 4 more years of weak borders. What will it take for whoever's running the administration to realize that the spin doesn't substitute for action? It's a good point. It's an opinion piece, and it's a fiery opinion piece, but I can't help but agree. That's one of those things where you can't necessarily take it as news. It is somebody essentially ranting into the, ranting about it. And okay, so anything's are restarted. I am wondering if guys, y'all are going to get me to do it. I'm looking at the chat, seeing you guys saying that refresh helps fix some things with Rumble. And I'm wondering if I click refresh while I'm doing a stream, what'll happen? Has anybody in the chat used Rumble Studio and tried to refresh it to fix something? Anybody in chat done that? If not, I might try it later. Gosh, we're almost an hour in, y'all. Time flies when you're having a good time. Wonder if it'll pop up campaigns for me to read if I refresh too. Maybe at an hour. Maybe at an hour I'll refresh. If you guys lose me, I'll try to create a new stream really quick and hop on. Apologize in advance. I apologize in advance if that does happen. Hopefully not. So let's see. So that was the opinion piece. Let's go ahead and move to the piece that is supposed to be neutral or more. I wonder if I could at least share audio. I might not be able to share. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Because I do want to do the O'Keefe Media Group thing. I think that's important. We can talk about it for sure. But I would like to, and if you can't, if we're not able to share it on this one, just, go to James O'Keefe's Twitter, and it's about 20 minutes. It's worth listening to. If I can share just the audio, I might try that. So I don't know. You guys get to see the behind the scenes stuff. Got the audio and stuff good from the start of the stream this time, but then we have these issues. Oh, well. Yeah, so all right. Yeah, it's it's very interesting, the stuff that O'Keefe gets people to say. Back to this article here. So we did the New York Post one. Get rid of that. And so this one here is from CBS News. So this is a story by Catherine Watson from CBS News. This is the article that purports to be news and not opinion-based. Let's see if it seems a little bit more neutral. Or let's see if it skews hard left. Title of the article: Biden unveils new program offering legal status to 500,000 immigrants. You mean illegal aliens. Stop with the incorrect usage of words. It pisses me off because they know what the hell they're doing. They know that they're telling the lie over and over again, and then you get it stuck in the vernacular. People just parrot it, and they say illegal immigrant, illegal immigrant. There's no such thing as an illegal immigrant. Immigration is a legal process. So you can't have somebody illegally immigrate.
Now, are they moving, from another country to this country illegally? Yes. They are illegal aliens. They are non-citizens. They are here illegally. That's all they need to be called. It's not offensive. It's the freaking term. It's correct. If the correct objective term for what they are and what they're doing bothers you, get the hell over it. So Biden unveils new program offering legal status to 500,000 immigrants. Washington. President Biden on Tuesday announced a large-scale immigration program that will offer legal status and a streamlined path to U.S. residency and citizenship to roughly 500,000 unauthorized immigrants, illegal aliens, who are married to American citizens. As CBS News has previously reported, the Department of Homeland Security policy known as Parole in Place, or PIP, because government loves its acronyms, so it's a thing, will allow these immigrants to apply for work permits and deportation protections if they have lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years and meet other requirements. The program still requires undocumented spouses to file necessary paperwork and pass a criminal background check, and doesn't apply to future migrants, future illegal aliens. The president said the action he announced Tuesday will go into effect later this summer. I'm assuming that there are going to be challenges to this, so we'll see about that. Oh yeah, y'all, they're gonna go. They already. We'll talk about O'Keefe here in a minute. I'm gonna remember the little conversation I'm seeing between Salty and Yanni Fangs in the chat. But yeah, O'Keefe's on the radar. Let's see. Today, I'm announcing a common sense fix to streamline the process for obtaining legal status for immigrants married to American citizens who live here and have lived here for a long time, the president said from the White House. For those wives or husbands and their... Oh, that was a bigoted of him. He only said wives or husbands. How traditional of you, Biden. Man. Just wives or husbands. No Z's or Zers. No wives and wives. Interesting. Very interesting. So for those wives or husbands and their children who have lived in America for a decade or more but are undocumented, illegal, this action will allow them to file paperwork for legal status in the United States. Administration officials estimate that roughly 500,000 unauthorized immigrants with U.S. citizen spouses will qualify for the Parole in Place program. Applicants must have been legally married to their American citizen spouse by June 17th. Those who are deemed to pose a threat to national security or public safety will not qualify. Well, that could be very subjective, couldn't it? That could be very subjective. Who decides if they're a threat? A lot of things that people are let go for that apparently aren't that bad. So if we're using some of the standards that they just let people go for, we might be in trouble in these communities, y'all. So the Department of Homeland Security said the spouses who would benefit from the program have been in this country for an average of 23 years. All right. How do people go that long? I'm struggling to see how that's even a thing. How is that a thing? That we've have people living in this country unbeknownst, really? No. They let it slide, they let it go, and then it ends up building to where it's, they've already been here so long. It's a sunk cost fallacy. That's what they're deploying here. This is a sunk cost fallacy. They've already put so much in, well, we might as well go ahead and let them stay. I'm not saying necessarily that you send them back for 10 years to be able to get back in the country. There needs to be some type of freaking rough slap on the wrist at least. I mean, god darn. It's so annoying when you don't have adherence to the law. If there are laws there, actually use them. Now, there are some silly laws, don't get me wrong. I think there's a law in Texas about, setting a freshly baked pie on a windowsill on Sunday after 1 or something like that. Those are some silly laws. These aren't silly laws. Do they need reworking? Probably, yeah. Does the system need to be, streamlined in certain ways? Yes, but we do need to be picky about who we let into this country. You should have to put forth effort. We should be vetting people that are coming to this country. They should be immigrating, and the intent on our part should be to have a new citizen who contributes to this country to make this country better. That's what we should have. So that's an interesting thought, Salty saying. Oh, it won't even let me pin anything. I think in an hour we might try to refresh so that I can actually share my screen and do the things that Rumble Studio is supposed to do. Let's see. It won't even let me pin stuff to the chat or to the to my picture here. Well, anyways, we'll hit the hour and then I'll try to refresh and try to get Studio to kick its butt into gear. If I lose all you guys, please bear with me. I apologize. So just do it right now. No, I've already said an hour, damn it. I've got to stick to what I said. I'm like weird about that sometimes. But thanks for the inspiration there, Salty saying. Let's go ahead and finish up this article. And by the time I'm done with this article, we should be able to go ahead and try to refresh and try to get Rumble Studio to get its butt in gear. So the president's announcement came during an event marking the 12th anniversary of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, implemented by Obama. DACA offered deportation protections for hundreds of thousands of minors who were brought to the U.S. as children, known as Dreamers. A federal judge in Texas last year ruled that the DACA program is unlawful, barring the acceptance of new applications. He's right. Mr. Biden's new program is expected to unlock a path to permanent residency, known as a green card, and ultimately U.S. citizenship for many of its beneficiaries. If upheld in court, the policy would be the largest government program to protect undocumented migrants since DACA. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. If these people have been under the have been under the nose of authorities, and what other things are they doing? That has to pop into your head. It just can't not, if that makes sense. Double negative for you there. So an immigrant who marries a U.S. citizen is generally eligible for a green card, but current federal law requires immigrants who entered the U.S. illegally to leave the country and re-enter legally to be eligible for a green card. All right. Leaving the U.S. after living illegally in the country for certain periods of time can trigger a 10-year ban, leading many mixed status families to not pursue this process. So that is maybe an instance where they can kind of adjust the time period, maybe. It depends on the severity. I think it would need to be a case-by-case basis, but you broke the damn law. You got to have a consequence for that. Do I believe that all these people are just, friendly little families that are just trying to live their best life? I mean, maybe. But I don't think it's all of them. I don't think it might be the majority of them. I don't know. This just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, you guys. It definitely leaves a bad taste in my mouth. To the one person watching on YouTube, thank you. I appreciate you. Hopefully I don't chase you off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Do appreciate you. If you haven't liked the stream already, like the stream, share it if you want to. Follow the channel if you haven't already. If you have not created a Rumble account, it does not take too terribly long. Had a friend the other day do it. Took them just a few minutes. Not that bad. Not that bad. It's worth doing. I think it's worth doing to show your support for a platform that supports small creators. They've got the ad campaigns if they function correctly. And the YouTube viewer went away. Oh, well. We barely knew you. We barely knew you. Before we remove, so Salty Saiyan says, before we remove the illegals, I think we should make them finish the wall. Yeah. What's up, the Blunt Scotsman? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Currently having some issues with Rumble Studio, not able to share anything. So here in a few minutes, I'm going to try to refresh. Hopefully that doesn't kill my stream. If it does, I do apologize, and I will do my best to get it up and running as soon as possible after that. We have a couple more topics to cover anyways, but not thinking we're going for the full 2 hours like we normally do, guys. Got some stuff I got to get done around the house still yet and all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I do appreciate you. So the Biden administration's... Yeah. We'll wait on the hour. So the Biden administration's policy would allow eligible immigrants to obtain a green card without having to leave the U.S. After 5 years of living in the U.S. as a green card holder, immigrants can apply for American citizenship. Okay, so that's the current policy. Just if you would have just done it the right way first, you wouldn't have these problems and you wouldn't have these moral quandaries. Okay, if you would have actually just done it the right way first, just follow the freaking law. Stop breaking the law, asshole. Scene from Liar Liar. That's where Sally. Not saying it again. I'm only saying it right at the hour mark. Take my little sip. No alcohol in that though. That's just Pepsi Zero with good old aspartame. Oh, I drink far too many. Although I actually took some cans to the recycling place recently, and I made like $6 off of two bags of crushed up Pepsi Zero cans. So made a little bit of money back. That's something. Straight brandy, nice. So the president blasted. Okay, former vice president. We have to respect the office, as Crowder says. The former vice president blasted his predecessor and 2024 opponent, insisting that the U.S. can both secure the border and provide pathways to citizenship. We can do both, guys. Come on. We can do both. Come on, man. Yeah. The Statue of Liberty is not some relic of American history, Mr. Biden says. Oh, he called him Mr. Biden, or she. Interesting. It still stands for who we are. But I also refuse to believe that for us to continue to be America, that embraces immigration, we have to give up securing our border. They're false choices. So he's saying it's a false dichotomy. We can both secure the border and provide legal pathways to citizenship. Well, it's not legal. You're skirting the law. You're twisting it. You're manipulating it to what your end goals are. That's all you're doing. Stop acting like you're righteous. You're not. The fact that people still buy this shit. Jack Black coming out the other day, man, that was about freaking disheartening, guys. I freaking like Jack Black, and I'm still going to enjoy some. I don't seek out his content necessarily. I think he's got some fun songs, and the guy is talented musically. It's gimmicky. Don't get me wrong. He's the big fuzzy guy who animated and makes the big facial expressions and all that. But him coming out and doing his thing with the American, American flag shortalls that he had, that was just pathetic. And these people are either paid well, told they're going to get future roles. It's the nature of the business. And, that or they're threatened. Hey, if you don't do this, we'll do this. So there might be some coercion involved with that type of thing. It was cringe. It was cringeworthy. Definitely cringeworthy. So we have to acknowledge that the patience and goodwill of the American people is being tested by their fears at the border. They don't understand a lot of it. Oh, you poor pleb, you just don't understand. That's what Biden says. These are the fears my predecessor is trying to play on. So, of course, yeah, making Trump the bad guy. Trump's the one instilling fear. You're going to say Trump's the one that's trying to install fear after what you guys did with the whole COVID stuff, after what you do with the climate stuff? Come on now. Come on. It's ridiculous. We are almost at the hour mark. I think I'm going to try. I'm going to try to reset, Sally. I'm going to try to reset my stream here for a second and see if I can't get things to do what I need them to do. Nothing is popping up even. Nothing's even popping up for me when I hover over it. So I hope that a refresh doesn't just destroy the stream. If it does, bear with me and I'll try to get it back up as soon as I can. And that way we can actually share some of the videos. I said it. Dang it. You got me, y'all. All right, we're close enough to an hour. I'm going to try resetting. Hope to see you guys in a second. Bear with me. Rumble Studio having problems. We're going to get it fixed. Probably. We'll see. See you guys in a second, hopefully. If not, follow the channel, share it. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you hopefully in a couple minutes if I have to do another stream. But keep an eye out for me up, I guess, on the top of the Rumble thing. We're going to try this and see if it works. Ugh. All right. We'll see. We'll see if this works. Yes, we got it. All right. All right. So I think it worked. I think it worked, guys. Can everyone see and hear me? Are we good? Oh my gosh. Let me see. It's still not going to let me do presentation or campaigns. How odd. Wait. Oh, check it out. Check it out. We do have some campaigns available. I would really like to do presentation mode. Ah, it's doing it. It's just going really slow, guys. Yes. All right. We got it fixed. While I've got your attention with all this drama here with the Rumble Studio having its issues. Yeah, I'm alive. I'm here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you sticking around. That wasn't too bad of a hiccup. All right. All right. You know what? I'm going to knock on some wood real quick before everything crashes and burns. But since I've got your attention, guys, if it pops up, let's see here. I seem to have an ad read available, and if you guys aren't too terribly bothered by it, I'm going to go ahead and do an ad read for RXIT. Oh no. So it said that it's no longer available due to your viewership exceeding campaign's payout ability. So Rumble is struggling. We're figuring stuff out here, y'all. We're figuring stuff out. I'll keep an eye on the chat here. I don't think I know what you're talking about there, Salty saying. The Tuma, something about a Tuma? I'll check it out later. Let's see. There's one there. All right, this one might work now. No, no longer available. Interesting. Come on, Rumble. Why you gotta be like that to me? There's one for Rumble. Maybe it'll let me do this one. Oh, well, you know what? It'll let me do a Rumble ad read, so let's try this one here. I already said this earlier, but I strongly believe it. Don't even need to do an ad read for it. Download the Rumble app. It is worth having. It's gotten so much better since it started, guys. Rumble has definitely been improving. They may have their glitches here and there. They may have DDoS attacks. They may have other server issues. They may have issues with campaigns, like we just saw a moment ago, or with sharing the presentation mode. But what I want you guys to do, if you haven't already, make sure to download the Rumble app. Once you download it, search for my channel, follow the channel directly on the app. This will make sure that you get a notification every time I go live. Click the link in the description or pinned live chat to download the Rumble app on your phone. It's free. If you prefer to watch us on the big screen, it's also available for Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV. It's Fire, guys. Fire. Roku, LG, and Samsung TVs. All you need to do is search for Rumble. All right. So it doesn't really have a link to copy, though. So maybe something will pop up in the live chat. I'm not sure. It is worth doing. It's a good thing to do. I've downloaded the Rumble app. It's it's had its growing pains over the years, year-ish, but it's getting better and better. So I do believe that we have time to share. Let's do these. Okay, let me get this real quick, and we are going to go ahead. Let me check the chat. What you guys doing here? So Salty, let me see if I can pin your. This is a. There we go. Hey, I can pin comments again. So Salty Saint said, as young as Rumble is, and as much fire and flack that it catches from everyone and how it's constantly under fire from garbage feds, true, they're killing it. They hit the ground running. I agree. Now, do they need to get a little bit better with their customer service for the creators at times? Absolutely. They'll get better. I think that they are on the upswing as far as quality of the service, quality of the interactions. I think they're going to get better and better. I see good things. So, yeah, one of the great things about Rumble is it's fairly free speech. I think the only time I've seen them, Catboy Fuentes was saying something interesting. Got a little bit spicy, said something about ending a certain population or something like that. And yeah, that was they just asked, I think, that he take that part out or something and then repost it or make it private or something like that. Because you can't threaten ending people. That goes against the First Amendment. You can't advocate for populations to be gone directly. I'll advocate for scafism for fans of the playground, though. That's something I'll do all day, every day. Scafism. Make it great again. Bring scafism back as a form of punishment for those that hurt kids in a particularly heinous way. I don't think that's unreasonable. I really don't. I think it's one of the nastiest ways to go, and I think that's what they deserve. But that's just me. So, let's see if we can't share really quick. We were talking about the Amnesty stuff. I read through those articles. Let's see if... yeah, Salty. I say bad words every day, man. Thank you guys for joining. See, we're up to close to 30 viewers right now. Appreciate everybody joining. If you can like this stream, like the channel, follow the channel, all that good stuff. I do appreciate you. Excuse me. Let's see. So I've got presenter mode, and we'll look at this cheap fakes cope from Karine Jean-Pierre. There it is. A solid. All right. Let me check my audio. I don't want to destroy your guys' eardrums. So I don't know if it's loud or quiet. So we'll go medium and see what we need to do to adjust. If it's too crazy, let me know in the chat. Appreciate you guys.
Used to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video.
See, like,
and
that's not the video. That the one that they were showing from the New York Post apparently cut that guy on the ground off. I've only ever seen this one. So, and then Maloney had to go and guide him back to what they were supposed to be doing. It's right there, guys. It's right there. Don't believe your lying eyes, though. Don't you believe your lying eyes? So.
That's exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith. And some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation.
Joe was stuck. Joe was frozen. Joe needed the physical touch to snap him out of it, to be like, all right, come along here, Joe. Come on, Mr. Biden. Come on, Resident Biden.
And disinformation, and so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. And I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post.
That was weird. The forehead touch, the forehead nuzzling he did with the Pope, that was weird.
Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. For thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for. Both in Normandy, this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. And instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes, these manipulated videos. And it is...
She did call it a deep fake there.
Again, done in bad faith.
Everything she says is in bad faith. Everything she says. she's garbage. She's one of the most garbage press secretaries. She does. I mean, I'll give her this. At least she looks nice. I mean, a lot better than old Raggedy Ann. Raggedy Ann, at least she actually made more sense, even though she was malicious and evil. She at least made more sense than Karine Jean-Pierre. Karine Jean-Pierre will say something and look nice, but yeah, her delivery is garbage. It's almost like she was put there because of her color of her skin and her sexual orientation. Oh my God, it's almost like she was a diversity hire. Huh. My God. How about you? How about you? There's another one. Oh, Biden reaching out to shake hands that aren't there, guys. Who is he trying to shake hands with? Who is it? Who is this man seeing? Oh, going it. Okay, we're doing the half cornholio. Half the cornholio, guys. Just half. Hands like this. Cornholio. Just get his shirt up, get his suit jacket up, and we will have it. No circle backs. No circle backs, Salty. No. Come on. Cheap fakes. Yeah, there's the people were making fun of it. I just wanted to bring it up and show that that I love that Libs of TikTok did that, where they put it side by side. Her lying is not a bad jerk. Wonder if she's got that soul glow. I am not going to try to falsetto hit that soul glow. By the way, I have a child sleeping on the other side of the wall, so and also I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't necessarily stay in the higher realms when it comes the higher octaves when it comes to music, but maybe if I'm in the right mood, a little Bruno Mars, get a little bit sassy with it. All right. So let's go ahead and move into the O'Keefe Media Group. Disney, and this will, transition well into our last topic as well. Disney has been so focused on DEI. They've been so focused on doing anything but making good content for the kids, making good content for the adults that like to watch, Disney material. They are only focused on what is the color, what is the sexual orientation, what is the protected status that we're going to push upon the masses. Yeah. Disney, and they got Star Wars. It is such a pity that they got Star Wars, guys. I hate it. Star Wars, I mean, a lot of people have mixed feelings about the prequels. I grew up on the prequels, so I enjoy them. I think Revenge of the Sith was amazing. You've got so many memes and so many good clips from that. I think it was great. Jar Jar Binks is obviously he's the one in control of everything. If you guys didn't know, Jar Jar Binks is the true Sith Lord. They come in twos apparently. So the power of menstruation. We're going to talk about that saying. We're going to play this little clip. But we're going to talk about it in just a second, guys. I got to check on something. Be right back. No, wait. Oh, I got to get a sleep mask to one of the kids. It's almost 11 o'clock. What is that child doing up? I'm pulling an ick. Those darn kids. I'll be right back. I've returned. What did I miss? Nothing too crazy there. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start talking the O'Keefe Media Group issue. Don't know what happened right there. Interesting things. Got the sleep mask to the child, though. Hopefully she'll go to sleep. It's summer. The kids are staying up a little bit later. Typically, we get them to bed around 9, 9:30. It's summer. We're letting them stay up a little bit. So the younger one's in bed, though. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I found it. We are going to go ahead and watch the O'Keefe Media Group piece. They got a scoop. They apparently... Let's go ahead and share my screen real quick. All right. So, breaking: Senior Vice President at the Walt Disney Company details discriminatory hiring practices. Nobody else is going to tell you this, but they're not considering any white males for the job, says Michael Giordano, a vice president of business affairs. There's no way. Okay, so that kind of gives you the idea. I thought he was just a... I thought... I said mask. It was a unicorn mask, a unicorn sleeping mask. I about came to the stream with it on for a moment. Yeah, she likes sleeping with a sleeping mask, so... Appreciate you joining, Neurodivergent One. Thank you. Yeah, back in the old days, they rubbed a little whiskey on their gums, right? No, we're not doing that. But let's go ahead and we're going to watch this piece from O'Keefe.
Certainly, there have been times.
Click on it and actually watch it on his, social media. Do so. Worth giving him the clicks. Worth giving him the eyes. O'Keefe's doing great work. He's doing awesome stuff. He's putting people out, and he is being the sunlight that we need to disinfect the corruption in these structures, in these organizations. O'Keefe, not saying he's a perfect individual, probably was a little bit crappy at times. You get high energy people, alpha personalities, people that are dedicated to a cause. Sometimes they do get a little bit rough around the edges. Might see people more as in means to an end or cogs in the wheel, what have you. And, they might make some mistakes here and there, but the man's done a hell of a lot for this country. He's done a hell of a lot for the world, honestly, with his work. And they'll say he deceptively edited or edited, that he presents edited material. Every piece of material that the media will present is edited in some way. So them saying that it's edited, technically, they could be correct in saying that, I don't know, the audio was adjusted or a video was cropped in a certain way, or this, they're added subtitles in. That's technically an edit. So technically, they're not lying. They're just insinuating that it's nefarious when it's not. In most of the cases, O'Keefe's content is what it is. It speaks for itself. So, oh man, y'all been getting it in the chat here. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We are going to go ahead and start sharing this. Well, playing it. And
Times where, there's no way we're hungry.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male Mitchell. They say
Like straight to you? Or okay.
they'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against whites, white men in particular.
I think I'm sort of well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. That's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions. And they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for a shot. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now. who was half black, but didn't like appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not like that's not."
I'm pretty sure this guy's actually talking to a female, so this might not actually be one of the chatty gays that we've talked about in the past. I believe I did a video about the proclivities or the propensity for the homosexuals that work for the government to just blab away and talk about secrets and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, I think this might actually be a straight individual.
That's not what's going on. Like they wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like we're, you know, at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of, you know.
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
I'm guessing that there is a acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, you know, look, we're not looking at like the usual suspects for this job. You know, so it's like not like a legally actionable thing, but everybody knows what it means. They, you know, the writers and actors hear all the time, they're like, you know, looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
Welcome to the Disney Tapes. My name is James O'Keefe, standing here in Burbank, California, outside Disney corporate headquarters. This is our first part in a series about blatant discrimination and woke policies.
I respect the fact that O'Keefe's trying to do facial here, but that's I hope that's not just how it grows. I hope it don't grow all white trashy like that. But you know, at least he's trying. Beards need to make a comeback, so.
At the Walt Disney Company. To say that the Disney Company has had a tumultuous 5 years, well, that would be an understatement. Major box office flops, a losing battle with the state of Florida, and a stock that is one of the worst performers on Wall Street. And as you'll probably conclude from this report, as well as recent shareholder rumblings, almost all of Disney's recent failings are as a result of Bob Iger and the cast of characters here at Disney that are trying to force woke DEI policies into every aspect of Disney's vast media empire. What used to be a highly profitable company by being the gold standard of family entertainment has taken a sharp downturn in the wake of all of its wokeness. Under CEO Bob Iger's leadership, Disney's downfall likely started with the insane hiring practices amongst its executives and creative teams. One of their top senior vice presidents claims that they not only discriminate against white men when recruiting and hiring middle management, they actually give bonuses for hiring and retaining employees that are specifically not white. According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against white men in particular. Not a week goes by without a news headline about potential medical supply shortages, threats to our infrastructure, or power grid. And you remember what they pulled during the last pandemic. Certain medications.
He's going to do his ad reads. I'm going to go ahead and let him play. He's going to do his thing.
Were mysteriously out of stock. No way will I ever let that happen again. In today's unpredictable world, it's all about being prepared for who knows what they have in store for the next pandemic. Our friends and supporters at the Wellness Company have designed this unique prescription-based medical emergency kit that is packed with 8 potentially life-saving prescription-only medications, including Z-Pak and ivermectin, which I used myself while out on the road and starting to feel a bit under the weather. Health is everything, and this is a great opportunity to order a Wellness Company medical emergency kit. The Wellness Company medical emergency kit stands ready to treat over 30 common ailments, ensuring you'll have access to vital medications when you need them most. And now save $45 per kit when you order using the code OMG. Get ready to write this down. Get your Wellness Company medical emergency kit at twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. and save $45 per kit today when you use code OMG.
You know, we have a diversity, equity, and inclusion
Yeah.
department who's very
Okay.
involved in like setting standards to make sure that our shows have diversity.
Do you think like Bob has a say in the diversity stuff when they're casting people? Like
100%.
to what
He gives the directive. I mean,
for each show? For each
not that specifically, but like, you know, hey, I want every show to have substantial.
Iger even has a chief diversity officer. Now, up until recently, that was Latondra Newton, who played a big part in dragging Disney full bore into its losing culture war by promoting discriminatory hiring practices and introducing gay, lesbian, transgender, non-binary, and other characters into Disney's children's animated series and films.
It's like an all-across thing, like all of HR. There's like that one specific person that kind of like, because I forgot
Good
the
question.
lady's name. She's the head of the.
Oh, I know you're talking about the head of the diversity, yeah.
The African American lady. Yeah. So is that like kind of her deciding?
She
that?
oversees a lot of that for sure. But it's pretty broad, I would say. There are other people in HR who are also focused on that. I would say a relatively large percent.
So he's a vice president. So senior vice president and team lead 20th television. So one of the vice presidents of like one of the subsections of Disney. So not like the big VP or anything. I think they say that he's a lawyer though at one point.
Percentage of our top writer creators happen to be there. And a lot of
just by happenstance?
I mean, like, just like if you say whatever, I don't know, whatever 10 or 15% of the population is gay, I would guess that 30 to 35% of our top writers, gay. And so I think a lot of them lean into trans stories more than the average straight writer would.
And in an odd twist, you have to be a white Jewish guy to be considered for a C-suite job. More on that next week. But now let's meet Los Angeles-based Michael Giordano,
Little tease there for you.
a white male and Walt Disney's senior vice president of business affairs.
I
God.
do.
Did y'all see that? Did you see the pronouns in the bio? He had pronouns in bio, guys.
Like,
That's one thing I'm never going to do, even professionally. If they tell me to start signing off my emails with my pronouns, I'm going to do something sarcastic and asinine. I'm not going to bend to this. Never going to put my pronouns in the bio. If you have a hard time figuring out if I go by he, him, or she, her, you might need to get your eyes checked. I'm just saying. I got long hair. I got some curls going on. But I'm definitely, you shouldn't be confused.
business affairs, so like negotiations for television.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really
So
cool.
not really like on the creative side. So a lot of it is, like knowing like the guild agreements and the union agreements and everything. Like make offers for the writers and the actors who are going to be out working on the show, and the producers and the directors, and try to get to a place where we can be able to deal with them, help the production to budget. And so much of my job is just the negotiating room. And then other people are doing kind of the drafting of the contracts. So,
Oh wow. So yeah, what's the negotiating like?
I'm like sitting down trying to figure out, okay, what are we gonna pay this actor for this role? What do we think they want?
Oh wow.
Kind of strategize that. Everything from how you produce a show, how you distribute a show, how you exhibit a show, how you market a show, things like that. All of the negotiations and deal making that's sort of related to it.
Yeah.
One, well, actually two of our brave undercover journalist and American swiper investigative reporters met Michael on the dating app Hinge. And aside from this story, which focused on Disney's overt discrimination against white men, you'll see later on in this report, and it'll be quite entertaining, Michael turns out to be quite the ladies' man.
How long have you been on dating apps?
Not very long.
Have you been going out with
Not a lot. Not a lot.
anything worth?
You know what's funny? No.
Let's dig right into Disney's blatant practices of discrimination. If you're wondering how Disney as a company looks at race, gender, and discrimination in the hiring process, about how they recruit and hire talent, Look no further.
I think there are times when it's like so front and center. It's like great because that's the focus, you know. Like we have so many shows where we're casting and we're like, yeah, we're not even going to see, you know, certain people for it because we need that particular role to
Yeah.
to
So is it intentional that they want like they only look for diverse candidates for
That's
certain
right.
roles?
Yeah. I think
That right there, that they only look for diverse. They, I've heard people incorrectly state that Black Panther is one of the most diverse films. No, it's not. Black Panther is literally just mostly black folks. It's not diverse. That's just taking all the whiteys out of it. It's okay if that's what you want to do, but don't call it diverse. Call it what it is. You're just doing black folks, and it makes sense. It's an African high tech, civilization. It makes sense that that's what you would do, but that to call it diverse is just not correct. So
there's certainly a belief that it's just good for society and big no. But there's also a belief that like we're gonna make more money if we appeal to a wider variety of people, and it's a good thing. We have shareholders too, and so diversity helps with that.
Diversity helps with financial incentive.
Yeah.
So is it like, do you think it's more so on that side, or using like any good prices that's put to use, or
regardless? I think the Disney regardless, but I think that there are like even conservative people who may not want to lean into it can easily make the argument that like we make more money when we appeal to a wider variety of people, and that means diversity.
Yeah.
There's a real focus on every show. And I'm sure the movies too, though I don't deal with that side. So, just making sure that the writers' room has a real, diversity, not just gender or sexual orientation and ethnicity, but making sure that they're hiring some writers who may have certain disabilities where they wouldn't have hired. Or since there's kind of a really broad look whenever we're doing that to make sure that everybody gets.
Yeah.
So they talk a big game about DEI, but do they actually do it? Apparently so. They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
Yeah.
Just remember, if you don't vote for me, if you don't know who to vote for, Trump or me, you ain't black. You ain't black enough, apparently, for Disney if you're mixed. Apparently, if you smack the skin, you see a little bit of pink. That's not black enough. Can't have these people are so fucking racist. They're so racist. You're not black enough to count. That's what they say. Nuts.
We had a situation where we wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's wrong." Like
They wanted the full.
They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting.
And so this is on the.
Like what? Did they want the guy to come in with a freaking pick in his fro and sagging and a chain? Is that what they're wanting? What does Disney want specifically? Well, what are they meaning when there's somebody's not black enough? You got to black it up for them? How horrible. This is just horrible.
This was on the
corporate side, the business side.
Never understood that. Is it 'cause I know a lot, I have a lot of black friends who are not as dark as So do they care about that, or it's the ethnicity actually?
They say they don't care about it, but the truth is, to some extent, they do. If you're mixed, but you don't look black at all, which sometimes happens, then they're like, "Oh, I'm not so sure." But if you're mixed and you can tell somebody's part black, but they're not that black, so, okay, that was so crazy.
But apparently Meghan Markle is black enough. You can't make this up.
So would Meghan Markle, who's pretty white,
right? Yeah.
Would she be considered?
She would still be
diverse,
yeah.
or
Huh? As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney, saying, quote, As far as Disney is concerned, I'm a white male.
Right now, I'm like a half step below a department head. I have a team under me, but I don't oversee a whole department. And I'd like to oversee a whole.
It sounds like the guy's middle management, essentially. Like he titled vice president and team lead, but it sounds like he's in that dreaded place of the dreaded spot of middle management. That's a sucky place to be. Not gonna lie, it's not fun.
I mean, that's a Disney.
Learn a lot. You learn a lot, but it's definitely a struggle, and it works a lot better if you don't have a family and are able to be like just focused on work.
They're having to leave. So.
Okay. Do you think that you'll have the opportunity at Disney?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think I'm sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. And that's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
So,
Oh, do you think that has a lot to do with it?
I don't know a lot, but it's something to do with it.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think the competition is?
Oh, I mean, I've been up for jobs internally against people who have less experience than me, and you know, haven't gotten.
Okay. And they were given to somebody else. Do you think it had something to do with their?
One or two cases, you know, I was told very explicitly that it did. Yeah.
Explicitly how? What did they tell you?
I mean, I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for a shot. They're just not.
That's illegal. That's very fucking illegal. I thought that the Supreme Court recently ruled that you couldn't do that type of thing. Or was that just for college admissions? I didn't know. I don't recall if that expanded or extended to companies and things like that. But this shouldn't be allowed, period. O'Keefe does good work. And the people that are working with him are doing awesome stuff. So that's okay. That Salties, you're saying that they did extend to the businesses. So the way that they weasel, the way that they're going to get around it is, and anytime, just throwing this out there, anytime you hear something that goes against the ethics or you feel like might be unethical when you're working in organizations, could be for government agencies, could be for private, what have you. Look at them and ask, would you want to send that to me in an email? You mind sending that to me in an email? And that'll get the corruption away from you, or it'll put a target on your back. But you know what? It's worth standing on principle of what's right. So, yeah, just hit them with that sometimes. Hey, you want to go ahead and send that to me in an email? Just a little tip there.
And so it's probably fair that Disney would say, we don't want a white person to play this role.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're very careful about they're very careful about messaging because they don't want to get to open discrimination in either direction. But certainly there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
Like straight to you, or okay,
they'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
in like email or whatever.
Right.
After getting a dose of Disney's discrimination himself, it seems like Michael may have been hit with a reality check that discrimination against people based upon race is probably not cool.
I mean, it kind of feels like at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of,
And that is a lawyer talking. Now, could it get worse? It actually does. Not only does Disney discriminate against white men, it gives management bonuses to hire DEI candidates over white men, totally disregarding their level of qualification, as long as they're not white. You heard me correctly. A part of some executives' compensation package is based on hiring and retaining black hires. We saw this in the case of IBM. America First Legal has launched a lawsuit. Many people coming out of the woodwork from IBM, from these Fortune 500 companies, all saying they've experienced this. We are certain to hear from people inside Disney who've made these claims. Many people here in Los Angeles, here in Hollywood, very afraid of Disney, very afraid of retaliation against their creative productions or movies or films or jobs for speaking about this truth. But if you have been a victim of discrimination, please reach out to OMG or Citizen Journalism Foundation, and we will try to get you representation to get your rights back.
I've had it with all my personal and private information being exposed and
Another ad. We're going to let him do his
exploited
thing.
by big tech and big government. So I'm joining my friend Eric Prince, and I'm switching to my new unplugged phone. Protect your privacy. Get your very own unplugged phone. Go to unplugged.com/OMG. That's unplugged.com/OMG. Take your privacy back. Unplugged.com/OMG.
I mean, HR keeps a huge spreadsheet. Yeah.
What kind of spreadsheet?
I mean, I haven't seen it exactly, but I mean, literally, like, they have stats. 17% of our executives at this level identify as XYZ. 40% of our executives at this level identify as, they have goals that they're trying to hit. They want a certain percentage of diversity here, a certain percentage of diversity there.
But are these are open goals? Because you're saying they can't say it in such specific terms. So are they open goals?
They are open goals at a senior enough level.
So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices to the people that they work with? Well, according to Michael Giordano, it seems like it's a sensitive issue, and they use code words and buzzwords.
I'm guessing that there is a acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, look, we're not looking at like the usual suspects for this job. So it's not like a legally actionable thing. But everybody knows what it means.
According to Michael, even Disney's human resources agencies are on board with these practices. All right, guys, do you know what the code words are for the discriminatory hiring practices? Do you work in HR? No? You familiar with the buzzwords? They don't know what I'm talking about now, but they will soon.
They, for writers and actors, we hear all the time, I'm looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are so there's definitely that focus.
Disney even has an internal organization such as 20th Action Group, whose sole purpose is to promote discriminatory DEI hiring practices and to push bizarre characters and storylines on children. The question is, can the people just come to work, make their cartoons, and do the discrimination elsewhere? But apparently not on CEO Bob Iger's watch. So how is prioritizing these DEI practices over hiring merit-based talent worked out for Disney shareholders, you might ask? Well, over the past 5 years, the S&P index is up over 88%, and Disney is down almost 30%, making that once golden brand one of Wall Street's biggest disappointments. Yes, the disaster that Disney has become is probably the most glaring example of what happens when you prioritize DEI over talent content creators and executives who truly know how to build value. So will Disney turn it all around and hire or promote based upon merit? We shall see. This is just part one. We got another tape coming out next week. This is a multiple part series. I spoke with Michael Giordano. You'll see that soon.
Are you going to date?
We are.
You have nothing to say?
Haven't seen you.
Do you work for Disney?
I'm not gonna.
Is this you right here? And hopefully we get a comment from the CEO, Bob Iger, reporting from Burbank, California, outside the Walt Disney Company. This is James O'Keefe with OMG.
Not gonna lie, I get a certain sense of enjoyment out of watching James O'Keefe run after these people. These people that'll just literally, when they see James O'Keefe, they know it's over. And I don't like people like. I hope the guy doesn't get fired, and like I don't want people to lose their livelihood or anything like that. But they know they're in trouble. And the cope that you hear from the left, or which it seems to be the left is the one that supports this stuff, the cope will be, oh, they're just saying stuff to sound fancy or sound impressive in the date. Really? That doesn't sound like bragging about things. That sounds like he's literally got grievances to talk about. Sounds like he might have an actual case for, I don't know, discrimination. But he would also, like I said earlier, about, hey, send that to me in an email. You're probably not going to see official stuff written down. You're not going to see somebody actually write it down in an email that says, hey, we're not hiring white folks, or at least you shouldn't. There are some instances I have seen where companies literally say, not looking for a white person, not looking for this type of person. And for certain casting roles, I guess I could see that. Say, like, I don't know, for a role like The Little Mermaid, where you have a little ginger girl or a white mermaid with red hair, maybe you'd be casting that type of look. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe. But what they're doing right now is completely unacceptable. He's going to get to talk to Bob Iger. James O'Keefe's not going to get to talk to Bob Iger. It's probably not happening. It sure would be interesting. Yeah, Neurodivergent one. Viva is a recovering lawyer turned Florida rumbler. I like that. Viva's got some good stuff. Viva's been doing this for a while. I remember watching him when I think it was right when he started talking about stuff like world stuff. I don't even think I saw the drone fishing video until after I had been watching his car vlogs. That's what I started, I think, with Viva, was watching the car vlogs. So he's got some interesting perspectives for sure. Disney is disgusting, guys. They've been doing this for a while. This has been a progression. I'm sure you guys have seen the clip of the lady saying that they have a not so secret gay agenda at Disney to put as much gay stuff into these cartoons and films for kids because they can't reproduce, so they recruit. That's not bigoted. It's the fucking truth. I used to think that was one of the most bigoted things that you could say because I have friends, I have family that are in the Rainbow Crew. Do what you want, love who you want, don't care. But what you're doing with this indoctrination of the youth, what you're doing with this manipulation of culture, this bastardization of culture, it cannot be excused. It has to be called out. Has to be. The blatant racism that you see from companies like Disney, it shouldn't be accepted. It really shouldn't be. Oh yeah, Viva's Trucker Convoy coverage was awesome. Yeah, Disney is not focused on good content. Disney's not focused on good story. Disney is focused on agenda pushing. You can't even watch Disney Plus anymore without seeing vile things, especially during this month. I will say, though, that I've noticed, even on like Hulu, usually during this time of month, or that sounded weird, during this time of year, this month, Pride Month, you tend to see a bunch of inappropriate things in the ads. I remember last year I had to pause it real quick and tell my kids to not look at the screen for a second to get done with the ad. And I have it on mute a lot of the time when it goes to ads. And no, I'm not going to spend extra money to get rid of the ads on Hulu. I don't want to give extra money to them. And honestly, some people mooch off of people, but that's just not something that we do in this household. We would never do such a thing. You know what? This isn't really on the topic, but that is an important comment there, Cole's Towing. Too bad that nobody is covering the truckers now. There are guys still locked up like J6ers or Certification Day 2021 protesters. Some of them got riotous. It happened. Plus others that never got their trucks back. Trudeau auctioned their stuff off. Yeah. Yeah, that's it is sad that the media cycle tends to forget those who are still struggling. it focuses on the new biggest thing. So Viva does some good stuff. He was covering those truckers hardcore. They were actually standing up against the Canadian tyranny. Our hat is rotten, guys. America's hat is rotten. It's not a good thing. So we're going to go ahead and end on a bit of it makes an easy transition, right? Speaking of, Pride Month, Disney's The Acolyte, I guess, is like a prequel series to Star Wars. It goes back into the ancient times, I guess, of the Force and the Jedi and the Sith, I think. It seems like it could have been a really cool story, y'all. It seems like it could have been a really cool story. I would love to watch it and not be indoctrinated with lefty lesbian witch bullshit, but apparently that's too much to ask. Apparently you can't watch good content, good shows, without being inundated with the nonsense. We're going to watch this little clip here. Apparently, in The Acolyte, a coven of lesbian Jedi witches. I think they're Jedi, or they may just be witches. I guess they use the Force to impregnate one of their sisters. It's like, does this make it like is it like a telekinetic or a supernatural, or is it a supernatural orgy? Is that what's happening here? I don't know, guys. I don't know what I'm looking at. I've watched it a few times and I'm still trying to figure it out. I can't really process it, if I'm being completely honest. Well, let's go ahead and share this nonsense with you. Still in presentation mode. Oh, don't do it. There we go. So on to lesbian witches. We're going to end on our funny note. We're going to mock this a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. Got that. And this is actually somebody reporting it, so she's going to talk for a minute. But we're going to see this. They do their weird chanting, as witches may do, I suppose.
When this new Star Wars spin-off, Episode 3 introduces a space race of lesbian witches who create new life together by utilizing the Force, meaning they don't need no man. Watch.
They don't need no man. I need to get that Jesse Lee Peterson soundbite of lesbians.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many. It's so disgusting and cringy that any suspension of disbelief required to watch fiction can't survive it.
You lose the immersion when it's something so blatantly silly, so blatantly obnoxious, so blatantly in your face with the message. The message, guys. That's what it's about. It is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say it. When they said the power of many, I mean, that brings up the whole, we are legion stuff. We are many. We are more than just the singular. We are collective. I am legion. Yeah, I'm saying it. It's demonic. Well, of course, it's witches. So it kind of has to be, right? I'm not saying everybody who does the Wiccan stuff is into demons. I don't even want to go there. The power of menstruation. So that was their ritual, that they just made one of them pregnant. Is it the black chick? Is she the one that got pregnant? I haven't watched this, guys. It seems like it could be cool. I know when I watched, I think it was Rebels. Yeah, I believe it was Rebels. They had the one planet with the witches and stuff like that, but they weren't they weren't lesbian coven witches impregnating each other with the Force or with magic. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Disney has destroyed Star Wars, guys. Disney is motivated only by the ESG, the environmental social governance score. Dang it, I forgot the other one, but there is another score that people don't talk about very often, but there are multiple diversity scores. I forgot what the acronym is for it though. But here's the thing. They may lose tons of money in stock revenue. They may lose tons of money at the box office. But guys, here's the thing. Even if they lose that money at the box office, even if they lose that money in stock, they are essentially sacrificing. It's like a sacrifice. It's a sacrificial ritual, we'll say. They sacrifice that for other perks. They get other rewards for bowing to the indoctrination, bowing to the dogma of DEI or DIE, because what is diversity, inclusion, and equity? The push, the false, the manufactured, fabricated push for it. What does it do? It makes your culture die. So we're not going to say DEI. We're going to say DIE. Diversity, inclusion, and equity is where your culture goes to die. Just what I've seen. Just what I've seen. Yeah. That's a good point, Cole's Towing. Good point, man. So doing an immaculate birth storyline isn't even creative. It's lazy. It's been done many times. Yeah, it's in the Bible. It was done there. But yeah, also, I mean, if you look at the myths throughout history, there's been other immaculate conceptions as well. Half gods and things like that. So where'd he go? But I thought that was just something kind of interesting. Funny. I think it's funny. It's sad, though, because I want Star Wars content to be good content. I don't want it to be nonsense like this. I really don't. But it's kind of where we're at. They're just going to keep doing it. They're just going to keep pushing this stuff and getting their reward in other ways. Whether that's power, whether that's eyes, I'm not sure. It sure would be nice to have good content for content's sake, not for the message. Just make good stuff. I guess Wish was okay. It had some cute moments. My kids like watching it. I haven't seen anything clearly indicative of agenda pushing in Wish. I mean, there is kind of the flavor of the man who's in charge of the wishes gets corrupted and wants to hold the wishes back or something like that. So I could see a little bit of agenda pushing there maybe, but the little bit that I've watched, it seemed like it was just more a decent little kids movie. Nothing too crazy, but the Dragon movie, what one was that? With Sisu or whatever. That one was decent. Disney can do good things if they actually just focus on the story. Neurodivergent one, bringing up the parallel economy. Yeah, the parallel economy does need to grow. It does, and it will. It will. Even though I may not like stuff over, I may not like the Daily Wire. At least they're trying. At least, even though they're a lot of the ways they're just like the other corporate media shills at this point, but they're better than Fox, I guess you could say, which isn't a high bar. They're trying to do things that are just not just news. I respect it. I respect the hustle. I respect them trying to do other things. Their movies kind of, from what I understand, haven't been that great. I never watched them. So we do need people competing against these giant companies, though. We need competition. We need diversity of thought, diversity of expression of thought. It's something, it's something that's worth investing in. And it seems like they don't care about the viewers at Disney anymore. They've gone far past giving a crap about what kids want to see, about what family content really is. That's what Disney used to be. And don't get me wrong, I understand that some of the old Disney films might have been a little bit iffy in some ways. I want to check out Andor. I've heard Andor was pretty decent salty. That's one that I actually might watch. But and again, some people mooch off of those services and don't actually pay anything. those people are not supposed to do that, though. Shame on you. You shouldn't do that. No mooching off of streaming services. It's very bad, very bad. But I think when you have like, is it Angel Studios that did the Run Hide? No, the Run Hide fight was Daily Wire. Angel Studios did the one with the child trafficking ring. And I'm blanking on the name of that. I didn't watch it, but I absolutely support the. I don't know. It kind of hits hard when you have kids watching stuff like that. It just seemed like it's like watching the Passion of the Christ. I tried watching that, and I just got like after a certain amount of flesh and blood, and it's just like, oh God, my Catholic guilt's already strong enough. Okay, I don't need more. But yeah, I definitely think it's a good thing that we have competitors showing up, but the behemoths have their claws in everything. And like I said, they're doing their sacrifice. They lose money in one way, but they gain something as a result of Sound of Freedom. Yep. Thanks, Yanni Fangs. Appreciate you. Sound of Freedom. I'm probably going to, I do want to watch the film at some point. Clearly one of those things that you can't watch around kids, and the kids have to be in bed. Gosh, I'll tell you this though. It's like at a certain point, it's like, man, when the kids are in bed, it's like, I don't want to do, I don't watch anything like that. I just want to watch a mindless dribble. I'm usually watching anime. It's good stuff. I actually found the old school Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans, not that Teen Titans Go stuff, on Max. The original Teen Titans on Max, and my girls like watching a lot of stuff that I like to watch. I picked, put one on, and my 6-year-old popped in, is like, ooh, that's cool. And then my 8-year-old popped in, like, ooh, that's cool. And they're like, hey, you want to start it from the beginning? And we started watching Teen Titans, the original, like OG Teen Titans series with my girls. So that was pretty cool. It's cool to be able to look back at the old stuff. And Justice League, admittedly, has some agenda pushing in it, but it's not as cringe. There was one episode that was literally just devoted to climate change. That one, knowing the signs and stuff, when you go back and watch it, you can pick up on some of those things that you might not have when you were a kid. But as a kid, you just thought, oh, well, that was the bad guy burning things down. You didn't think about the whole climate change thing. So not saying that content hasn't been influenced by social agendas or social movements in the past. It used to be done tastefully, though. You can do the girl boss thing tastefully. Ridley from the Alien movies, right? I mean, or is it Ridley or Ripley? Ripley. It's been years since I've watched them. You can do a strong female, Sarah Connor from Terminator. 2 examples of strong female leads, and it's not cringy. It's not forcing it. It's not pushing it. Disney has taken the approach that they have to their film, pushing the agenda, and they do it with their hiring practices and with their promotion practices. Yeah, Salty saying I don't watch Teen Titans Go. Can't do it. It's just so cartoony. It's too campy. If people like that, that's fine. It's just not my cup of tea. I like the Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans that actually gets dark. So it was Ripley, directed by Ridley. Thank you, Yanni Fangs. I thought so. Disney eventually will either fade into obscurity, or they will morph into something else completely, and families won't want to engage with any Disney products whatsoever. I've already seen a lot of families. I've talked to families that literally will not watch Disney in their house. I get that. I do. Maybe the new stuff, I get it. But as far as like the OG stuff, the stuff that I grew up on, I mean, we're going to watch Peter Pan, and they're going to be talking about, why does the red man howl? They have, it is definitely, it's in that one I get it, but you don't need a disclaimer. Disney Plus has a disclaimer at the start of Peter Pan that talks about depictions of the natives depictions of, I think they call it indigenous folk or indigenous peoples. And just that's where you as a parent could just have a conversation with your kid. But most of the time, a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, are they going to really have a conversation? Or a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old? I mean, maybe, but are they going to be able to, parse the minutia of such sensitive topics? No. Are they just watching the thing to watch it because it's fun? Yeah, mostly. They're kids. They're kids. So, we're getting some spicy in the chat. Nice. Someone's getting congratulations. What? Ah, nice. Apparently, Salty got a canceled Pride Month in his city, and then there was no Juneteenth either. You know what? It was a holiday, so somebody was getting paid, I guess. Good for them. Juneteenth, I don't have a lot to say on it, to be honest. I think if they want to, I don't think it should be called Freedom Day. Every day is Freedom Day in America. But the day that we celebrate our independence is Independence Day, July 4th. So I'm going to stick with that one. You want to call it Juneteenth Day? It was, from what I understand, Juneteenth is literally just the last place that got notification that slavery was done in I think it was a town in Texas or something like that. That's great. That's great. It was over before that. But I mean, if the last place got told, was there even slavery in that town? Because I think the West was a little bit different compared to like the North and the South. I don't know. I don't know enough about to talk about it. Honestly, I think it's just it's a gesture of goodwill, but also it's okay. I mean, I'm not really offended by it, but also I don't really want to call it Freedom Day. You can call it Juneteenth. It works, whatever. Yeah, Disney with their diversity, inclusion, and equity, their company will eventually fade into obscurity, or it will change into something different. Like I said, I would like to see it take a step back and go back to what it used to be. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to have cartoons and kids content and family content that is just good, wholesome stuff. So I think we are probably at about we went over 2 hours again, guys. Again, I appreciate everybody who has stuck around. If you've been watching the whole time, if you haven't liked the stream already, what are you doing? Just smash the like button, okay? You could tap it. You could caress the like button. Smash it at the last minute just to let it know who's boss. Whatever, If you haven't created a Rumble account, takes a few minutes, worth doing. I think it's worth supporting free speech platforms. I think it's worth supporting small creators. So like I said, if you haven't followed, you haven't created an account, do so. Doesn't hurt. Gonna kind of wrap it up here. Today we talked about the cheap fakes, or eventually, as Karine Jean-Pierre went to call them, she called them deep fakes. The videos of Biden wandering off, the cropped videos, which I didn't even respond to at first because the video that I saw wasn't cropped out. I saw him walking over to the other guy. We acknowledge that the problem isn't that it was cropped out. The problem was he's wandering away from folks. He's freezing. He's barking at the press. That's one that I had queued up that I ended up exiting out of. But yeah, Biden's about gone, and he's going to spend 7 days preparing for the debate at Camp David. Is he getting an oil change? Is he going to be getting, I don't know, some blood swapped out? Who knows? I'm not saying one way or the other that's what's happening, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he pops another blood vessel when he's debating Trump. Either way, it's going to be interesting, no matter what happens. After we talked about the cheap fakes accusation from Karine Jean-Pierre, we then discussed the amnesty push from Biden for those who have been married to a U.S. citizen and been in the U.S. for 10 years. The I'm not saying that the process right now is perfect, and do I think that somebody who's been here and followed the law, needs to be kicked out for 10 years? Probably not, but we don't. We need to have some form of consequence, some form of holding these people accountable, because you can't take a certain class of individuals or a certain group of individuals and say, well, the law doesn't apply to them, but it applies to everybody. Applies to everybody else. It applies to the people that haven't ever broken the law or haven't offended on anybody, but the one time they may have a misstep, oh, we have to slap them with a sledgehammer. No, you cannot do that. We need to have equal application of the law, follow the letter of the law. And I know there's a difference between the spirit and the letter. Still yet, what we're seeing is not conducive to viewing the system as legitimate. It's really not. I don't think you should have faith in the system, because I think you should only have faith in God, but that's just me. We do have some tenets of consistency that we should be able to expect, and it would be nice if we could see that. We then moved on to the O'Keefe Media Group scoop with the vice president and team lead of the 20th century TV or whatever, with their scoop on Disney's blatant racist and sexist approach to hiring and promoting folks. It is disheartening to see, but at least we're seeing it. Like I've said before, sunshine's the best disinfectant. O'Keefe is an excellent source of sunshine. Keep it up, man. If you guys want to go watch his video, and so he gets the clicks too, that way I'm not just stealing a view from him. That would be good too. Share it if you are on the X or True Social or Gab. By the way, you guys can follow me at Dozer74 on X. I am only 70 followers away from 1,000 followers on X. Not really sure what that means or why that's something to brag about, but it's a milestone, I guess. So hey, if you haven't followed me there, I'm also BillDozer74 on True Social and Gab. I try to get on True Social every now and then. I definitely am on X more often. It's a little bit smoother, just to be honest. True Social is not horrible. It's still there. It's still worth having, I think. So I still post to it every now and then. Yeah, I'm at I think 9:30 or 9:31 on X right now. So been creeping my way up. Maybe eventually I'll be able to do subscribers on X or something like that, or try to. I think I have to have a certain number of impressions to eventually monetize it. Sally was actually sending me some good tips on that a while back. I might need to pick her brain somewhat on that. And at one point, Sally was talking about kind of working through Rumble Studio. I might need to. I'm going to try to figure out. I might do a stream or a video. I might do a video where I'm like sharing my screen and working with Rumble Studio, so that people who may not be familiar with it can kind of see how it works. But so after we talked about the Disney scoop with that vice president and their blatantly racist and sexist hiring practices and promotion practices, we then went into our fun story, our lighthearted story. Not really a white pill, but just kind of just funny. We played that crazy clip of the lesbian witches impregnating one of their sisters with the Force. It is the meme. Disney is its own joke at this point. It's hilarious, honestly. Made me chuckle. I'm still trying to figure out that scene, exactly what was happening. Odd stuff, but you guys do you, I suppose. Anyways, I do believe that is about all I've got this evening. Thank you guys so much for watching. I did. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Yanni Fangs, he's, if you look really close, his profile picture was changed to the depth. I can't see it in Rumble Studio, but I do see it. I think it's changed. Yeah. Yeah, I can kind of see it. So if you're on your PC, it probably picks up. You can probably see his profile picture a little bit better. Or if you click on Yanni Fangs, you can see that Johnny Depp photo that he was talking about earlier. Let's see. So wrapping things up again. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for participating in the chat. You guys are mad men, women, Zers. Not sure. Really appreciate you guys. I'll probably be seeing you guys in whatever next chat I might be in. kind of feeling a little bit tired. Might turn in a little bit earlier. I say that, but I know I'm going to be up until 2 a.m. So I'll probably see you guys here on Rumble somewhere else. But anyways, follow me at Bulldozer74 here on Rumble. I am the Bulldozer. You guys have a good one.